they better go to the private sector. That is where people make money, not in government.
Prices. How come a whole this sum of amount could be kept in somebody's room, and the person also being a politician? Like at times, some of the politicians make a way for some of us to talk ill about them, because see how the economy is right now.
I think they should investigate. You can't say because she's a minister or whatever, she shouldn't have that amount of money in her house. It could be a personal money or something. So they should just investigate. They shouldn't fire her or something.
Keeping such amount of money in your house is kind of very, very suspicious, and I don't know, but all I know is she should be suspected. Like, she should be investigated, and she should be called upon for more further distance to know why she's keeping that kind of amount in her house with maids and other, those house helps and things in the house. So my suggestion is she should be investigated. I don't know her reasons though, but that's what I think.
When in our engagements with the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, the Chief Director revealed shockingly, that the ministry has resorted to engaging a land guard to retrieve and protect government lands. And mind you, these are lands that are held on behalf of the people of Ghana, vested in the president to protect it. And I'm sure that the framers of the Constitution are aware that the president is the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces and is seized with the capacity to ensure that these lands are protected for our, communal use.
We have decided to do politics rather than business. I'm saying it, that this equal number of parliament had brought the West in MPs. I've repeated it, I will repeat it again. This parliament, 8th parliament, has made the least number of laws. We have not cooperated as we did in the past. In my 15 years in parliament, there was not one of consideration time that we had more than 30 people in the chamber. But we have cooperated over the years because we understand the challenges. First, that business called consideration is very boring and it is very technical. So it's only a few people who got used to and learned over the years who were often in the chamber. When I joined, they used to call it delete and insert. When it gets to delete and insert, many people leave the chamber. But we never used the absence of our colleagues from the chamber to defeat the purpose and the substance and the work. Today, young people are in control. They look at things differently from the rest of us. So it is good for them, even when their leaders agree to do it. Check out, it's always people from the backbench who come to raise these issues, not the leaders. What it means is that indeed, at this time, in the Parliament of Ghana, leaders don't have control.
He shouldn't be frustrated. He should just bring at least 92 of his members and we'll do business.
He also threatened that if you continue like this, when the tables turn, you also face the same fate. What do you make of this?
Well, whether the table turn or not, the Constitution will remain the same. Even if the table turns, the Constitution will require 92 members to be in the chamber to form a decent quorum to do business. But we still remain committed to our statement that in light of this persecution, no cooperation from us.
Discover boundless horizons at Heritage Christian College.
Charlie, Malcolm never they stop the blow on a mind. So Malcolm says shop Fala at any Malcolm shop near you. Enjoy a whopping 20% off this weekend from Friday 21st to Sunday 23rd July 2023. It's the Malcolm Fala promo. Terms and conditions apply. Malcolm, where Ghana shops.
The brainy and a manty and in my baby and in my baby. Woman saw baby came one. Woman saw bar way on your bar or set or bar for.
We're going to scrutinize every bachelor that comes on this show. Your money is our money, my money is my money.
Did you get it?
Yes.
I'm here to win the husband material. My mom tells me I'm the best man anyone can have because she personally prepared me for that.
Equally, you're also very neat in the kitchen.
So rare to see a man that can cook.
Food is love. Simple.
Is he hot?
He's hot. If I feel insecure about your female friends and I tell you not to hang out with them anymore, are you going to do it or you're not going to do it?
This marriage will not happen.
St. John's School in 70 years. Hooray! The headmaster, board of governors, the management, staff, PTA, Old Saints, and students are calling on all to join in the celebration of the 70th anniversary. Theme: 70 years of impactful Catholic training on the boy child, the St. John's experience. The celebration is starting from 17th to 23rd July 2023. Program highlight: Monday 17th July, anniversary lecture. Tuesday 18th July, cleaning and tree planting outside the school. Wednesday 19th July, exhibition by student and a memorial service. Thursday 20th July, float through the principal street of Sekendi Takrade. Friday 21st July, games with All Saints. Saturday 22nd July, anniversary Grand Debra. Sunday 23rd July, anniversary Thanksgiving Mass at the school premises. Guest speaker: Old Saint 1980 Dr. Charles E. Owuba. Special guest of honor: Dr. Justice Samo, Just More Construction Limited. Chairman: Old Saint 1977 Dr. Kwesi Enyan. St. John's School, the best. St. John's School, preparing the way.
This week on Today's Woman, we speak to an obstetrician and a gynecologist who calls herself a tough cookie. Her stories from 2019 up until now 2023 will do nothing but inspire and uplift you.
I've had a situation where my patient is on the table. I've been talking to this patient since prep room, right? And where we get to the table, and where's the surgeon?
Are you the one going to conduct the surgery? Wow! Make a date with me on Saturday 3 p.m. right here on TV3. My name is Cookie, and of course it is Today's Woman.
Today's Woman, all new season with Cookie T, shows Saturdays at 3 p.m. on TV3. Brought to you by Latex Foam. Visco.
Ghana's most beautiful puts the power in your hands. That's right. You have the power to choose who represents your region. 16 regions, 32 contestants, 1 regional representative. Your vote can choose 1 contestant to represent your region. Here are your contestants: Ahafo region, Amwenima and Techiwa; Ashanti region, Buafua and Ebu; Bono region, Efua and Kwatima; Bono East region, Amobia and Ohima; Central region, Nanaya and Chumwa; Eastern region, Efriye and Oba; Greater Accra region, Ajoko and Nayele; Northeast region, Lom and Wuni; Northern region, Basi and Nura; Oti region, Akos and Olila; Savannah region, Alela and Tetiaka; Upper East region, Hama and Nige; Upper West region, Nuong and Sunsuma; Volta region, Jifa and Selo; Western region, Sewa and Sikapa; Western North region, Binewa and Mai. Dial *713*13# to vote or download the TV3 Reality app. Remember, your vote is your power. So pick up your phones and start voting now. Ghana's most beautiful, Ghana's beauty, Africa's pride. GMB 2023 is sponsored by Bangawego.
Sunday on TV3. Expect Ghana's Strongest to get a lot more interesting than you are accustomed to, because 2 men will be evicted out of the 8 who remain in the show. 4 events await them as we bring you this edition of Ghana's Strongest. And remember, we will be in Tema at the SOS Village. Make a date with us this Sunday at 4 p.m. right here on TV3. Ghana's Strongest, the power to do.
Catch the new season of Ghana's Strongest this Sunday at 4 p.m. only on TV3. Ghana's Strongest is powered by Gasem, the nation builder. Brought to you by Mixi Choco, Channel Hot,
Deluxy Acrylic Paint,
Drugnet.
Discover boundless horizons at Heritage Christian College.
Said it, and I'll repeat it again. Those who are coming to this administration thinking that it's an avenue for making a lot of money are going to be disappointed. They better go to the private sector. That is where people make money, not in government.
Welcome back. This is Key Point here on TV3. We're live on 3FM 92.7, also live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. That was President Kufuor declaring to his appointees that if you want to make money, it's not in his government. Go to the private sector. It is on the back of this that many have asked the fundamental questions after the revelations of this particular court case and the details of it became public. I'm talking about the Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, Cecilia Abena-Dapaah's $1 million, 300,000 euros, and millions of Ghana cedis in cash, all in her bedroom, stolen by 2 of her house helps. In fact, the current one and the previous one, who all collaborated and shared the booty with their ex-boyfriends and boyfriends and the father, all benefiting from the booty. It's a typical case of complainant turning accused. Now, but for you, the public, the questions you've been asking: what in God's name was a minister doing with $1 million in her bedroom? Where did she get the money? The source of the funds. And why did she not take it to the financial institution where questions will be asked? These same questions we are asking about the source of the funds, so that there's clarity. Is there something to it that we do not know? Reason why there's a call for investigation. Who has to investigate this? These are the questions that we will be asking this morning. And the position of the law, really. Joining me in studio for this all-important conversation here on Key Point on TV3, also live on 3FM 92.7, is a leadership expert, is a governance expert as well, and it's a lecturer. And the convener for the Ghana Waste Report, as in the wastage of Ghana's resources, a report that was put together. Professor Enoch Opoku-Enchi. Good morning, Prof. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Alfred. I'm thrilled to be here.
Also, Martin Kpebu is private legal practitioner. He is the convener for the Kumi-Prekun Reloaded demonstration. Is the convener as well for one of 3 individual bondholder groups. Lawyer Martin Kpebu, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Kansi.
Also joining us today is the Honorable Alhaji Inusa Fuseni, former Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, a former Member of Parliament as well. He is also
a private legal practitioner. Good morning, Honorable. Welcome.
Good morning, Matt. Okansi, Alfred. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. It's good to have you join us. Also, as we go on shortly, Dr. Henry Kwabena Kokofu, who's also Executive Director of the Environmental Protection Agency, also from Mpala, is going to be joining us in the studio shortly. And the next conversation bothering on James Achekwesing and matters arising, Alfred Tuah-Yeboah, the Deputy Attorney General, will also be joining us. So today, it's a full house with a lot to talk about. Let's lay the foundation with the details as we do know it from the fact sheet, gentlemen, in court, that was presented in court about this case. Let's put that on the screen right now, and so that viewers will follow. So these are the complainants, the husband and wife. In this case, Cecilia Abena Dapaah, the minister, and the husband of the minister by name Daniel Osei Kufuor. Now, they went to court saying, listen, these people have stolen our money. Then, these are the accused persons. The first accused is the A1, Patience Boche Mabena, 18 years of age, the house help to the minister and the husband. Sarah Ejay, the former house help to the minister and the husband. She's 30 years old. Then Benjamin Soa, 29 years old. That is Patience's boyfriend. Then Kweku Boche is Patience's father. That's Patience is the first accused, the 18-year-old house help. Then Malik Dauda is Patience's ex-boyfriend, who is 34 years old. These are the 5 people. Now, we understand that this issue happened between July and October last year. At the time, Patience was 17 years old. And so they had to wait for her to, and there was a back and forth, investigations ongoing, until she turned 18 before this matter was actually sent to the court of law. We'll get into the legal so it makes sense. So these are the stolen items from the minister's bedroom. Cash of $1 million and 300,000 euros and 350,000 CDs. Initially, the reports were that the CDs was thousands of CDs. But if you look at the fact sheet of this case, which we have a copy of, it puts the CD amount that was stolen to 350,000. Clothes and bags valued at 95,000 CDs. Jewelries valued at $95,000. 6 pieces of kente worth 90,000 CDs. 6 sets of men's suit, which belonged to the husband of the minister, valued at $3,000. These are the items that were stolen. Now, take a look at it. This is how the money that was stolen was spent. They bought a 3-bedroom house. This at Amrahia. This is Patience, the 18-year-old. A 3-bedroom house at Amrahia at a cost of $70,000, finished with new furniture, everything new. $70,000. Then Patience and the boyfriend, the current boyfriend, who is accused number 3, bought a Hyundai Elantra at a cost of 80,000 CDs. Patience gave 180,000 CDs to her boyfriend, the current boyfriend, who used the money to buy a Honda Civic. Patience and the boyfriend rented a 2-bedroom apartment in Tamale at the cost of 105,600. Honorable, that's your constituency. Yeah. Patience and the boyfriend, they rented a 2-bedroom apartment at Tamale at the cost of 105,600 for 2 years. Patience and the boyfriend again rented a shop in Tamale at the total cost of 120,000 CDs, also for a 2-year period. We understand they went into hiding in Tamale for quite a while. That's how come they rented and bought shops there for their business. Then Patience gave 50,000 cedis to her father and 100,000 cedis to her ex-boyfriend. Initially, the report was 1 million, but when we checked the fact sheet, it said 100,000. Then the second accused, which is the second, that's the house help, built a 3-bedroom house at Bujumbura with her share of the money. Then the police, as we speak, has retrieved $40,000 and 72,619 Ghana cedis from the apartment of Patience and the second house help. So you have some knowledge of what happened. This is just the basic information about everything that's happened and reported on the fact sheet, which we have a copy of. Everything that you've seen there was gleaned from the fact sheet. Professor Antwi, seeing this, first of all, how does it strike you? The details as I've just put in there.
Thank you very much, Alfred, and greetings to all our viewers all over the world. I think that this issue can be seen from many perspectives and different constructs. I want to get into the house of Madam Cecilia Dapaah and Mr. Daniel Osei-Kuffour. That is their home. Mm-hmm. So the question is this public corruption or private stealing? That is the question we should ask ourselves. Ghanaians like to talk about issues, but I'm glad that you started with the fact sheet. So the facts are clear, and I'm a Kantian. I like, Immanuel Kant. And he talked about the law of categorical imperative, which says that wrong is wrong no matter who is leading it or who is behind it. So in doing that, I want to set up some premises. In the first place, I want to set up this precedent from Detroit, where Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick in 2002 was found of the same thing, racketeering, conspiracy, that includes extortion, bribery, and fraud. So all these issues could bother about those areas. But the most important part of it is that if you look at this issue critically, and when I was coming this morning, I was reading the 2 Kings 5, which talked about a young maid who went to Naaman's wife and said that if my master was in Israel, he could have been healed of this leprosy. So if you have a good relationship with your mates, they'd rather help you, they will not steal from you. Now, so the relationship part is there. I saw some media houses doing a great job by digging into the background of Mr. Daniel Osei-Kuffour to see that he's a chief architect. Mm-hmm. So if the money belongs to him,
well, from the fact sheet that we have, okay, and we'll put that on the screen as we go, the money belongs to, because she made the complaint, okay, the minister. So
the money belongs to the minister.
So as we go on, we'll show that.
Okay, so that settles a lot of lingering things in people's mind. If the money belongs to the minister, then we're talking about a public figure, right? We're talking about a public figure. There's something I talk about Kwame Kilpatrick, where we had racketeering and fraud and bribery, and we have bits being rigged, soul sourcing and all those things. Mm-hmm. That we'll get into the details. But if the money is coming from the public person, which is Madam Cecilia Dapaah, then I'm surprised that government have not issued official, report now, because that person is a public figure, a minister for that matter, mm-hmm, and because of that, anything that borders on a minister, a public figure of a sitting government, an incumbent government, the government should issue, a statement that this is what happened, and maybe we are investigating. The reason why I brought Kwame Kilpatrick issue in Detroit was that as soon as this happened, the FBI moved in to investigate. Once there's a public figure issue like this, somebody that, institutions should move in to investigate. And I was thinking that either the IOCO or the CIA or the Office of the Special Prosecutor would just issue a statement that this is a plausible corruption issue. Mm-hmm. And because of that, we are going to investigate into that issue. That has not happened yet. But if you look at the Patriot Act in America, mm-hmm, and some of the laws we have, you cannot take more than $10,000 with you, either in flying in or coming out. Okay. And that is a Patriot Act. So if you go to any bank in Europe or America and you want to take money from the bank, all that they will ask you, and you want to take 10,000, there will be a lot of questions. They have to report to the right agencies and tell them that, look, somebody is here to take $10,000, and the law do not allow that. So we'll have to investigate what the person is using the money for and why the person is taking that money out. If you have legitimate money, why do you keep it in the house? That is the question most households are asking. That if the money was legitimate, $1 million in your house is not a joke.
Well, in fact, I've also heard some people who bring in another angle to the conversation that there are people, private persons, who have more than $1 million in their homes.
That's risky.
Private persons.
Alfred, that is risky. Private or public, why do you keep that kind of money in your house?
Well,
you put your whole household in danger.
The common denominator here in this case is because she's a public officer, a serving public officer.
So I want to see it, I want to be very empathetic in the way I am thinking in this issue and very logical. Whether private or public, there's no need to keep $1 million in your house. You put your entire household in danger. There is something called the banks that is supposed to keep the money. So keep the money at the banks. Now, if the money is not legitimate, that is where people keep them in their houses. Legitimate monies are kept in the bank so that we will know we have that kind of transparency in the in and out of that money. So we have to investigate first the source of the money. And if it is legitimate, why is it being kept in the house? And you know, the money lost for a while before she even recognized that the money has been lost. And these are all questions that we should be asking ourselves. I have appeared in many jury duties before where you're not supposed to preempt the case to know what is happening so that you will judge the person. But I think that there are more questions here than answers. One, why keep that big money in your house if it is legitimate? Two, what is the source of the money? Three, as a public figure, why should you create that kind of danger for everybody who's a public figure? Because now people are thinking that most ministers and most MPs, Cecilia Dapa was an MP, former MP of Bantaman. Most MPs and ministers have stacked money in their houses, so they will be targets. And these are questions that we should be answering ourselves. How do we solve them? So I think that, first, government should issue a statement about what they know about the issue. And then, if I were her, I would step aside. If I were Cecilia Dapa, I would step aside as a minister so that there will be investigation into the issue. And if nothing is found against me, I come back to take my position.
Well, you're expecting that a statement, at least a
from
statement
the government,
by now, from the presidency, should have been issued.
Yes, that's leadership.
Well, as we speak, there is dead silence. We haven't heard anything as yet from the presidency on this matter. But in your estimation, at the least, a statement should have come out by now.
Yes.
Okay. Talking about statements, we just got a statement as well. This is from Cecilia Abena Dapa herself. It's the text is not that visible, but we will try to, put it on the screen as we go on. She says, quote, this is the heading, statement from Cecilia Abena Dapa. I refer to publication dated yesterday, 21st July 2023, suggesting that I own $1 million, 300,000 euros, and millions of cedis, which have been stolen from my house. There are noticeable inconsistencies. This is paragraph 2 of the statement. Okay. There are noticeable inconsistencies between what is being discussed in the public domain and the thrust of the original complaint on the matter. I am taking steps to examine the origins of the inconsistencies and will provide a detailed response in the coming days. That's Cecilia Dapa's statement. He says, I'm taking steps to examine the origins of the inconsistencies and will provide a detailed response in the coming days.
Alfred, if you ask me, this is too late. It's too late for her to do that because the issue is already public knowledge. Why do you have to wait, at appropriate time to provide the noticeable inconsistencies? What are the noticeable inconsistencies? The fact sheet is there. What is happening? Money has been stolen from your private house. The money is huge, which is supposed to be at the bank. That is if. So there's the power of if. If the money is legitimate, it's supposed to be at the bank. So if you have noticed any inconsistencies, noticeable inconsistencies in the reportage, let it out so that people will know. The more you wait, the more people speculate about you. And all those speculations may be wrong, but don't wait till people, put you into that tight corner, because your back will be hitting the wall now. You have to come out and say the truth. And like I said, if I were her, instead of giving text messages and everything, issue a press release. She says, minister, for heaven's sake. And she knows what to do. A press release, a press statement that says that these are the facts, what happened in my house, because you are privy to it. You are a witness to whatever that happened to you. And you are the center of this, whole talk. So come out with your bold statement. This is what happened. And that is why we sent it to court. This is why we waited till this time before we went to court. That to really exonerate her from most of these inconsistencies that she's talking about.
I see. Well, Lawyer Martin Kpebu, let me bring you in at this point, especially because of the issues about the law, the position of the law and so on. There was a question about whether there's a specific law that bars anybody from keeping that much money in their private residence. But then Professor Antwi brings about the dimension about the perception of the legitimacy of the source of the money, so that if you have this much money and you are taking it to a financial institution, they will ask fundamental questions, much of it about the source of your money, where that money is coming from. So if you're keeping it away from the formal system that would authenticate the source of the money, the indication is that it is ill-gotten wealth. Is this something that you agree with?
Oh, absolutely. Because that's the framework of our law. You see, from the Constitution to the Anti-Money Laundering Act, Act 1044. So when you start with the Constitution makes a clear statement that if you have money or any other property and cannot justify how you obtained it, then it's presumed to be stolen, or let's say this unlawfully earned money, acquired or earned money. So that's the framework in the Constitution. You go to Act 1044.
Act 1044.
Yes, that's the Anti-Money Laundering Act. And you find that there are similar provisions. If you send such money, it's going to trigger suspicion. So under Act 1044, the Anti-Money Laundering Act, you hear about suspicious transaction report. The banks would have to report. Yes, because with such a colossal sum, what you're going to find is that that money is way more than a minister's income. And Cecilia Abnadapa is not been known to be any industrious lady who had made money in private life. And the assets she declared, she declared her asset. If she was that wealthy as a millionaire, I'm sure in Ghana it would have been well known to us, right? Yes, so we can not fault Professor Antwi for saying that there is perception that this money is ill-gotten, right? Okay, so now let's read the constitutional provision, the first one. So I'm looking at Article 286, Clause 4. It says, any property or assets acquired by a public officer after the initial declaration required by Clause 1 of this article, and which is not reasonably attributable to income, gift, loan, inheritance, or any other reasonable source, shall be deemed to have been acquired in contravention of this Constitution. That's it. So any income, all right, property, that cannot reasonably be attributable to your income, gift, loan, inheritance, or any other reasonable source shall be deemed. Look, and Professor Antwi made a very poignant point. Look, it's when the person cannot justify, then they bring initial statements like this. There are inconsistencies. I'll look into it. I'll come back. No. It's too little, too late. Trust me. Look, if you earn the money honestly, as soon as you hear the first media report, if it's honest money from legitimate business, quickly, you also hit back because you don't want falsehoods to travel that far. Look, this story didn't start today. And it's unfortunate. Let's bring this before we continue. Look, I'm very passionate about juvenile justice, right? Children should be protected at all times, even when they are in conflict with the law. Let's not disclose the identities of children involved in crime. The lady's name shouldn't have been disclosed. The police made a huge mistake. No, It should have been done in such a way that her identity is protected. Because under the Juvenile Justice Act, you see, at the time these things are alleged to have happened, she was a juvenile, right? So there is a way that you have to do it. Under the law, it's an offense to disclose the identity of the juvenile. I'm talking about the Juvenile Justice Act, Act 653, right? Yes, please, let's watch. The media shouldn't disclose the identities of juveniles. Look, you know how many juveniles have grown out to be responsible
So this
citizens?
person is 18 years old.
Yeah, by the time
I don't
it
understand.
happened, she was 17.
No, so that's the caveat I was putting to this. So what we do know, or was earlier reported, was that yes, indeed, the incident, this stealing, was reported to have taken place between July and October last year. At the time, the first accused was 17, but at the time, the story was not public. In fact, at the time, the complainant had not even taken the matter to court.
No, she took it to court.
So
I'm telling you on authority. The
so
case
you
went
know
to court. Yeah. I don't want to go
At
into
least-
further detail, but there was a court case last year.
when she was 17.
Yeah.
But then we have gotten to know about it now that she's 18. And we are reporting, everything we put on the screen there is an 18-year-old. So for us as media, we haven't violated the law that you are talking about disclosing a juvenile's identity. That's an 18-year-old.
I get where you're coming from. Okay, let me proceed. You see, so my initial drift was on the police, and then I'm coming to media. Well, I forget that I'm also in a media house here, right? Yes,
No,
you
no,
also
I
take
mean,
part of it.
it's fine. I just wanted to put it on record that whatever
next
we
time,
put there is not a juvenile.
I should have drawn your attention, it's not just occurring. Maybe then we would have tried to find a way of not putting as much of it as possible. Because you see, as I said, the law seeks to protect juveniles, right? So at all material times to this alleged incident, she was a juvenile. So I see that in Act 653, she still deserves that protection, right?
Okay, but
Yes.
she was, but now she is not. She's 18.
I don't know, Mr. Okansi. I think don't justify it at all costs.
I'm not
thing is that-
justifying it.
So look, under the law, even if at the time they are prosecuting you, you are 25, that person will be punished like a juvenile. So if you will be punished as a juvenile, why is it that the privacy afforded to juvenile doesn't extend? So Leslie, if not, this will become look, this is the work I do. I mean, so I'm not lightly going to give up that she doesn't deserve protection. No, juveniles, I'm very passionate. This is where I run something for juveniles. I mean, let's leave it there. This is my key area. I do it pro bono. I've done hundreds of juvenile cases. Let's not play. And the adults we are talking about, look, even Akufo-Addo, who held so much promise, wasn't he finally found to be the mother serpent of corruption? People are constantly evolving. Some are becoming worse. Others improve. So for juveniles, it's generally taken that children will grow up to be better citizens. So let's protect them. Look, I have information, lots of ministers, people close to government, where they were bad kids, were taken to court. I mean, by eventually they were. So let's talk about those who have publicly talked about this. Look at Archbishop Duncan Williams. Today, see the good work he's doing. But he was quite a troublesome juvenile. He says it. He was taken to juvenile court.
You've established the point.
Right? Yeah, and the ministers, there are lots of them. Gabi and Co. I mean, it's not a hidden thing. You read online, you see Gabi talk about his juvenile days. Gabi Ochiridako. It's online. Google it. You read. You will see. Okay? So let's not go in there. If we do that, then it means that there will be very few adults left in Ghana, right? Who will be left to champion the affairs of this country. Okay? Yeah. So the point is that the Constitution says that, look, if you have assets that cannot be attributed to your income, gift, loan, then or inheritance, then it's deemed to be illegal money. Okay? Yeah. So illicit wealth. Okay? Then I went to Act 1044. So based on this, and also the nonchalant manner in which Madam Dapai is dealing with this matter, she's sounding more as somebody who has no defense to this matter. Yeah, Professor Entry nailed it. Because look, when you have a solid defense, you don't wait. You don't let so much water pass under the bridge before you come out with that defense. You quickly also come out. You begin to show quickly. So she could have even come here with her own dossier. Look, I ran this business, I earned this, I earned that. Look, the truth is only one. The truth is one, like the way we say locally in Twi and every other languages. It's just one. if you earned it well, but now should have been out there, because if you are not guilty, you are not guilty. Sometimes you don't even need a lawyer, right? If it's genuine money, why would you be scared that, hey, why would I go and say, if it's genuine money, it's genuine. There are some of the things, it's not even a lawyer who will come and teach you that say it's genuine money. If you've earned it genuinely, you will deal with it genuinely. Unfortunately for us, Madam Dapaah is in a government headed by the mother serpent of corruption, President Akufo-Addo. Yeah, so when you have a mother serpent of corruption at the helm of affairs, what do you expect? Akufo-Addo will pretend mampam that he hasn't heard, right? Otherwise, Madam Dapaah would have been out of office by now, because you see, though there was part of the question you asked that which law prevents a citizen from keeping so much money. Yeah, well, it will be hard. The banking laws, the anti-money laundering laws that I've quoted, 1044 and the rest, I don't see. We are all learning, but I haven't seen so far any law that says that you can't keep that money. But, as I've said, because Madam Dapaah is a public officer, and you're looking at $1 million, you convert that into cedis, so that's
12 million.
12 million cedis. 300,000 euro. You multiply that, so several millions of Ghana cedis. And you see, when it comes to the Ghana cedis, that one, they couldn't even specify. They said millions, right?
Well, but when we check the chart sheets, they put a 350,000 cedis there.
Yeah. Good, you proceed. Yeah, so now, with that, what you are looking at is that then it means that's so much money. And as I said, in view of Article 286, Clause 4, that is not something we should be toying with. So because on the face of it, look, it's already looking like money way beyond her income, you would ask that, Madam, please step aside, at least be suspended for a period while the investigations go on. Because as long as she stays in office, then it creates a very brazen kind of a nonchalant attitude to corruption. It's like, oh, corruption will thrive. You remember last week, President Akufo-Addo now could come out. So now he's been totally roundly defeated. So he says, so it's not only politicians who are corrupt, but also the rest of the citizenry, right? The man who said he will fight corruption to fund free SHS is now saying that, oh, corruption is not only among politicians, but also all citizens. So it means that we should allow it to thrive, right? Yeah, so she should have been out of office by now, at least on suspension. Then let investigations go on. If she's clear, she comes in. But to still be allowed to stay in office using state funds and all this, and even with the risk that some state institutions will not be able to investigate her well because she's in office with all the privileges intact, it doesn't bode well for our governance. You see, when ex-President Mahama heard about Victoria Hammer's intention, just intention, that she wants to earn about $1 million cedis.
$1 million.
She was sacked swiftly. So I think the list.
This is a rare one.
Yes, so somebody just posted the pictures yesterday. That Victoria Hammer dream, Cecilia Dapaah reality. Oh please, look, Akufo-Addo, the least he can do. He's already, harmed this nation so much, but at least the least he can do now is to just let Madam Dapaah step aside whilst the OSP comes into it. Yeah, so
on that bit about the special prosecutor.
Yes.
So if the OSP comes in,
yes,
how is the OSP getting into this to investigate what exactly?
Yeah, so because the law, so this 286 I quoted, usually you are looking at SHRAJ. Until OSP came in, you would have said a report be made to SHRAJ, right? But thankfully, under the OSP law 959, they don't even need any complainant. That's how come citizens are rightly calling on the OSP to step in. Because under their law, they don't need any complainant. Once they hear about it, they can step in, right? So you are looking at the OSP, apart from Act 959, there's also the LI 2374. If you look at 2374, Regulation 1, Sub-Regulation 2C, it says, on its own, act on a corruption allegation or corruption-related allegation, or 2, reasonable suspicion of the commission of corruption or a corruption-related offense, right? Yeah, so these matters border both from the suspicion and corruption allegations. So we citizens are already seeing it as corruption, because where did she get that money? Yeah, so once the allegations are washed in the media there, that's a fine case for the OSP to step in, right? And they will go in, because once the income, you can't justify. And this time, you see what we read. Yeah. If you go into the Act 1044,
this is the Anti-Money Laundering Act.
Yes. So the burden would then be on Madame Dapaah to show how she got that income. It's not a burden on the state. The burden will be on Madame Dapaah from the Constitution and Act 1044 and the OSP law to justify how she got the money. So she should by now be hot and listen, answering questions on this matter. The criminal matter, yes, can also go. Like in law, we say pari passu, honorable, like, yes, they can go in tandem. But we need all the swiftness. This is the one that needs a daily trial. This is the typical one that needs a daily trial, right? So citizens should get up and add their voices for a daily investigation and a daily trial of such a matter. Yes. Okay, so Council, I think...
Right. You made reference to the reasonable attribution, that particular part of the law that you read. Yes. Just reiterate that portion of the earlier law you read about reasonable attribution.
Yeah,
so we make some clarity on this.
And it's been used in the past. So Article 286, Clause 4.
Article 286, Clause 4.
Yes, let's repeat. It says, any property or assets acquired by a public officer after the initial declaration required by Clause 1 of this article, and which is not reasonably attributable to income, gift, loan, inheritance, or any other reasonable source, shall be deemed to have been acquired in contravention of this Constitution. Yeah, that's illicit wealth. Yeah,
I see.
And the context is, so when you say declaration, so you're talking about declaration of assets. So that declaration has been done from what we are hearing, and that also brings back to the matter of publication of the assets. You know, even under PNDC law, even under the Rawlings regime, when you filed your asset, the declaration, it was published. It used to be gazetted, so it was public knowledge. We come into the constitutional era, and then somehow people have misread the law and allowed the declaration to become secret. But from what we are hearing, people who have seen the declaration of the assets say, no, there isn't such a thing about 1,300,000 euros, etc. So, Madame Dapaah, please come out quickly. Don't waste time. Don't waste time.
It's on this asset declaration law as well that some people have asked that we should now get into it to find out if she even declared the assets, if she owns any private enterprise that may have warranted such monies. But there's some weakness in the application of the asset declaration law as we have it. Is it potent enough to address this matter?
No.
As we have it. I mean, the asset declaration law in its current form. Lawyer. And at this point, let me acknowledge Dr. Henry Kwabena Kokofu is a former member of parliament in the 6th Parliament of the Republic of Ghana, also former MP for the Bantama constituency. He is currently the Executive Director of the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA. Dr. Henry Kokofu, thank you. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Great. Lawyer, let me just stay on this, the asset declaration law, and whether it, in its current form, is potent enough to address this matter that has been uncovered.
Oh, obviously not. Because, that's a matter of public record. So, because of that, because of its very grave weaknesses, there's been a bill, the Public Conduct of Public Officers Bill, that seeks to make the system better. Of course, that bill too is not perfect, but at least it's far better than the current one. But the mother serpent of corruption said no. Occupy Ghana wrote to him. They wrote to cabinet. No, they were not interested until the IMF program came and it reinstated it. So if you read the IMF document, they say that law should be passed. But the
Conduct of Public Officers Bill,
President Kufuor, he said no, they were not going to pass it. You check when you Google Occupy Ghana, Ace Nkrumah and they wrote several times. Ace Nkrumah has been championing, pushing government on that bill. Every night then you see letters to cabinet. They wouldn't even mind him. But thankfully, the IMF has reinstated, brought this thing back to the 4. So let's see how it goes. So the point is that when you look at the current law, the reason it can't do is that, number one, the document is even kept secret. Secret until there's been a complaint. So when you lodge a complaint with SHRAJ, then that is when that's when they would go into it. So or a court may order. All these are provided for in the Constitution. So a court may order, or so we are looking at article, the same article 286 clause 3. It says that the declaration made under clause 1 of this article shall on demand, you see it, on demand, be produced in evidence, A, before a court of competent jurisdiction, or B, before a commission of inquiry appointed under Article 278 of this Constitution, or C, before an investigator appointed by the Commissioner for Human Rights and Administrative Justice. See, so that's one of the weaknesses, because as I mentioned, even under Rawlings' military regime, they were publishing it so that citizens who had access could read, and if they found you with more assets not in there, they could report. But now that we've shrouded in secrecy, how can citizens assist? So maybe one of the first steps will be that, look, I think we are also wasting time. Perhaps after this, today, if by Monday we are not getting any other citizen to offer to go to SHRAJ, maybe I can elect to send a petition.
You send a petition to SHRAJ
yes, but
on this? Yes,
we are asking other citizens to do it. Master, you don't need a lawyer. Just take a pen and paper. Just ordinary English. No, because we can't continue doing it. Otherwise, you see, every time the people says he wants to do this, I already have a number of cases. But if by Monday no other citizen wants to go to SHRAJ, yeah, I can do so. Then somebody else should also go to OSP, right? Yes, because it's good when you have.
So can the OSP elect to get into this case without any petition?
Absolutely. That's regulation 1, subclause 2, II of LI 2374. It says that initiation of action, complaints under the under complaints, they have initiation of action. Then you come to, okay, so even 1, to give a bit of context so that readers will follow, listeners and viewers will follow. It says the office may act on a complaint, blah, blah, blah. So all talking about these areas of corruption, etc. Then there is B, the 2. The office may, the C1, that's 2C, it says on its own. So the emphasis is on its own, act on a corruption allegation or corruption-related allegation or reasonable suspicion of the commission of corruption or a corruption-related offense. Did you hear somebody say, Madam, the power was responsible? There was this $48 million contract. I'm not saying, I'm just repeating what is in the news. That could that be the source of that money? She's brought herself. Somebody, Kojo Dynamic.
Yeah, there was a World Bank
project. Since that one is in Dallas and this one is in Dallas, yes, citizens are free to. If you say you come into public office, be prepared, right? And President Kufuor himself said it, that if they want to make money, though he has ended up making far more money than he has made all his life. President Kufuor, mother serpent of corruption.
So if you look at the charge sheet, and lawyer, this is just to contextualize the issue and just also to add another layer of clarity to the concern that you raised. That on the face of the charge sheet, the count 1, statement of offense, conspiracy to commit crime to wit stealing, contrary to section 23(1) and 1241 of the Criminal Offences Act of 1960, Act 29. I read, particulars of offense, Patience Boche, and the charge sheet age there is 18 years, and her profession given as hairdresser and house help. Then second, Sarah Ej, age 30 years, unemployed. Between the period of July and October 2022 at Abelemkpe in the Greater Accra region and within the jurisdiction of this court, did agree or acted together with common purpose to commit the crime to wit stealing. So on the face of the charge sheet, the age given to this Patience Boche is 18 years. That's just to, bring some clarity to the earlier point that I made. And so there was no reference to the point when she was 17 when this incident actually happened. But let me bring in Honorable Inus Afuseni. Dr. Kofu, let me bring you in at this point, because the call for the president to at least by now, it's about 24 hours now since this issue became public, to have issued a statement on this matter, because one, he's the appointing authority, and the major and most important denominator in all of this is that this is a serving public officer. And at least she should have been asked to step aside so that investigations take place. Nothing has been heard of the presidency now. Dr. Kokofu.
Yes, let me say good morning to your cherished viewers and your good self. My colleagues here, it's first time we meeting. As for senior, in Parliament we've met. Indeed, he was one who inspired me most to do the Masters in Oil and Gas Law.
I see.
Yeah, during that time, we were only two MPs with that program. Yes, I want us to situate the whole thing properly. What are we talking about? Crime has been committed in some other people's house. They've made the complaint. They did not take the law into their own hands. They went to the police and make legitimate complaints. And the matter is before court. As we deliberate on these issues and all that, the matter is a subject of court, it's a trial. So we must be very careful among ourselves. We are lawyers and we are supposed to know. So then all of a sudden, the crime that has been committed has been turned to something else. And in the court of public opinion, we are inviting the complainant to come and defend herself, in quote, in the court of public opinion. Invitation to treat. Are we being fair? What kind of society are we building? Are we encouraging people to go out there and steal from others? If anybody, and Lawyer Pebu at the tail end of it made it, if anybody has anything against what has happened, the right thing is to petition the appropriate bodies. And he says he will be going to Shraj on Monday. And I clap him for that. That is the best thing to do. When you mix legalities with propaganda and unsolicited, please, I'm coming. He had the whole time. Let me talk. When you mix legalities with this sort of propaganda, emotionalism, sensationalism, with matters of this is a pure criminal matter that somebody has reported. Or stealing and robbery has ceased to be a criminal matter in this country. Somebody should answer me. Now, who are the complainants in this case? Why are we attributing all these properties and the monies to Madam Cecilia Dapaah? Why?
Well, because she's the complaint.
Please read it properly. What about Daniel Osei? What about Daniel Osei? The husband. So two people are the complainants. And categories of things have been stolen. We are talking about jewelry. We are talking about money. Why don't you say the jewelry belongs to the woman and then the money belongs to the man? Why are we treating women in this country this way? Please, I'm coming. I want to situate the argument.
We've not even gone into any gender.
I am going. No, you don't go there.
I see.
You don't go there. Please, I agree. Don't go there. Don't go into gender, but I will venture in there. I will go there.
What's the importance of it in a situation like... See, have you seen the charge sheet?
Please.
Here's the charge sheet, just for the benefit.
I need not listen to any
because you made reference to the charge sheet.
Let me flow. I think it will help you. A simple question, answer me. How many complainants are in the case?
There are two complainants.
Thank you. Wait. Two complainants.
First of all, the particulars of it.
You listen.
Okay. So the particulars of offense. Patience Bochi, 18 years. The reason why the money is one of the major issues in this is because, one, the unemployed, this is Patience Bochi and the other
people. The money belongs to her. Please look down there.
Please,
the charge sheet says the money belongs to her.
Yes, so that's what I'm reading.
She didn't know why
that's what I'm reading.
Go ahead.
It says the age 30, Sarah between the period of July and October 2022 at Abelemkpe in the Greater Accra region and within the jurisdiction of this court did dishonestly appropriate cash, the sum of $1 million, the property of Cecilia Abena Dapaah.
Okay,
it is on the
don't worry. Don't worry.
No, I needed to state it emphatically.
You don't worry. And then please, don't worry. Don't worry. Is it also
it's a worry to me and the public?
Is it also Osei Kufuor part of? Oh, please. So is it Osei Kufuor also part of the complaint? The complainant? Yes. And they are couple. Please listen. They are couple. What belongs to the husband necessarily belongs to the wife. So these are not two. They are not. They are couple.
But was that stated on the charge sheet that what belongs to the wife belongs to the husband?
You may state it or not. But you and your wife, I and my wife, myself and my wife
are one.
The same thing applies to all of us. So let's situate it properly.
No.
Again, going forward, what has government and the president got to do with this at this stage? At this stage, all that we've been told in the public domain is that there's a court case running against theft, crime, at this stage. If for some good reasons or any reason, anybody thinks and believes so that an infringement has been occasioned by this couple, Cecilia Dapaah and the husband, in this matter, that person has the right to raise any complaint and all that. He spoke about OSP. The law does not say OSP shall. He said may. Suomotu investigate these matters. So may. That is the key word. If you feel so strongly, petition the OSP or the SRAJ, as he has just said. But to get into the public domain, invite her into the court of public opinion and roast her here to the extent, and I'm so sad this morning. Lawyer Pegu said Cecilia Dapaah is not known to be a person who has money, who does what, and she's not a millionaire. Please let me give you a brief background about this woman. I served under her. I was chairman for Bantama constituency when she was a member of parliament. And when she finished her tenure, she did not run again. I had to step in. Now, this is a woman who has worked in this country, and the records are there, at Cocoa Processing Company. Long before New Patriotic Party came to power in 2001. When President Kufuor assumed office, he invited her to come and serve as a presidential staffer at the presidency at then Osu Castle. Fast forward. In second term in office of President Kufuor, Madam Cecilia Dapaah stood on the ticket of NPP Bantama constituency and won and became a member of parliament. She was appointed Minister of State at the Ministry of Housing, Works and Housing, together and worked under Honorable Hackman. She has worked all this her life into this. Under President Akufo-Addo's government, she had been a Minister of State all this while. The mother of Cecilia Dapaah died only last year at the age of 90 or so. A queen mother who was so prominent in the court of the Asante Hima. The mother was as wealthy as you can talk about. Cecilia Dapaah's family are known to be wealthy from the word go.
What was the point exactly?
The point here is inheritance also play. And he said, he read the law. Inheritance and all other things also come to play. So when you are determining somebody's wealth, and for him to have said on this your
so are you
your
saying
program,
that
Cecilia Dapaah is a woman
inherited
of
the $1 million?
He says that Cecilia Dapaah was a woman of straw. He doesn't know her to be a millionaire. Yes.
So if you say you don't know, does it mean it's wrong?
Well, you too, you are a lawyer.
Yes, so
you too, you are a lawyer. If you don't know, you have not investigated, you have not, and then you conclusively make a public statement. on the media
Dr. Kokofu,
landscape,
Dr. Kokofu,
which
Dr. Kokofu,
I take it so with a pinch of salt.
So what's your point exactly?
It is, you decided to bring her person and then describe her and then conclusively say that she does not have money, you don't know what she does and she cannot. Yes, that is what, let's play it back.
Dr. Kofu, so what
I'm saying is, there are other sources of getting properties.
Like inheritance.
Okay. Inheritance is part of it.
Are you?
Please, let me answer, Prof.
Wait.
The lawyer was very, very up to that.
Okay.
He said, throughout the laws, there's no law that prohibits anybody from keeping money and, for that matter, properties in the house. There's no law. But for risk and for safekeeping and all that, the convention is that we need to do that. So that matter is settled. Okay. You cannot fault her. You cannot fault anybody. You cannot fault me for keeping money in my house. But the risk, because there's no law that prohibits. And then again, the husband is an accomplished architecture. What do you call it? Architect. Yeah. Accomplished architect. A well-known businessman who does not talk and brag. He does not expose himself to the public with properties, with all that matters. So if you don't know, please, you don't jump into the conclusion that. You see, so now the couple, all of a sudden, the couple has not worked before, and they are not worth.
We are not. Amount. So let me put it. I'm not even getting into the discussion of who the husband is and what he does.
Yes,
the fundamental issue is, I'm coming.
No, you cannot isolate her. You cannot isolate Cecilia Dapaah and roast her simply because she's a public officer.
Let me ask you this question. Let me ask you the question. You would understand where I'm coming from.
We are wrong in the premises of doing that.
Let me ask you this question.
Go ahead.
The charge sheet we are dealing with on this case, every conversation we started on this morning has been predicated on the details of the charge sheet. Anything outside of that, it's your own reference. Okay, let me say
at what point that the charge sheet mentioned Daniel Osei-Kuffour? Go there, read there. Go into it. So you haven't seen Daniel Osei-Kuffour in there as a complainant? As a co-complainant, you are telling the whole world that you are not aware, you are not privy to the fact that Daniel Osei-Kuffour is also a co-complainant?
Don't shout. You calm down. Let me make a statement. Let me make a statement. Let me ask you the question.
Yes, because I've got to forcefully make that statement.
Your shouting is not going to add so much to what you're saying.
Well,
what I'm saying, the point is, wait. Let me say this. All the details of what we have on the charge sheet, the only item or property that was stolen associated to the husband is the $3,000 suit.
Yes.
Just that, the 6 pieces of the suit, valued at about $3,000. That's the only item attributed to the husband. The jewelry and the $1 million, 300,000 euros, and all of that, based on the details of the charge sheet, belongs to Cecilia Dapaah. Are you saying that, to the extent that one, this is a politically exposed person, and I know you're a lawyer, so you understand the term, and the fact that this is a serving public officer, the question about, one, the clarity of where this money is coming from, and that can only be uncovered through an investigation, you would rather, instead of the president initiating an act which is meant to instill some public confidence in the government's verbal commitment to fight corruption, you want a citizen to rather to initiate this when the appointer is aware of what is happening in the public domain. And even for you as an appointee of this government, you should be interested so that when the clarity is brought to this matter, the brush that is being used to paint all of you, that you, Dr. Kofu, you also have $1 million in your bedroom or more, and others. there could be some clarity to it. Are you not concerned about that?
So should I answer you?
Yes.
I asked a question, simple question. What is the matter in issue? What is the matter in court? Somebody has reported theft in his or her house. And so all of a sudden, the crime committed is put on the carpet and at the background. Then the complainant now becomes an accused. Okay, based on what? You are talking about corruption here. You may assume some form of scandal and call for investigation. I have no problem at all. I have basically no problem, given that one of the complainants is a public figure. But then my concern is, why would we want to draw in the government and draw in the president to the extent that Lawyer Pebu keeps on and kept on calling the president serpent, mother, whatever of corruption? Where does it situate comes in? If you make a complaint and a petition, and you are able to establish that yes, your suspicion is real, or you have enough suspicion that the money might have come from an illicit source, so it has to be investigated. So be it. Otherwise, we are talking about Madam Cecilia Dapaah, 1 million cedis, the charge sheet and all that. So couldn't the husband have given her the 1 million cedis? I'm coming. Why not? The husband is a rich man. The husband is a businessman. The husband is an accomplished person. So can't we, sitting here, husbands, can't we give monies to or properties or give something to our wives? Let's give the person the benefit of the doubt. Report to the appropriate quarters. Let her be invited, put on interrogation, and let her answer the questions. You don't jump into the bandwagon of propaganda and all manner of things.
What are you classifying as propaganda, really?
Because when you put matters that are not conclusive in your own thinking, you want it the way people to know the way you want it to be, without much investigations done and evidence so adduced, and you sort of convict the person in the minds of the public.
What conviction have we made here?
You are all saying that she got the money illegally.
Nobody has made that statement this morning.
Lawyer Pebu has said so. Lawyer Pebu has said so. He went on to say that her income cannot.
Can you please put your phone on?
Yes. Her income.
Put it on.
But you said the Constitution says if you cannot, and I kept saying she should bring evidence. She should bring. She has to justify.
And you said you know. Cecilia Dapaah, we know. Let me paraphrase you. Cecilia Dapaah, we know. We don't know her to be business person.
I don't know her.
You don't know. So that's what come out. So that's what I'm saying. You have conclusively said that she cannot, and she's not worth that. Yeah, you don't know.
Wealthy.
So
I'm saying that.
And I know her to be wealthy.
So you say so.
Then I'm saying that is what I'm saying, that you've made conclusive statement which you do not. You are not privy to the evidence.
The meaning is, I don't know. Do you hear? I don't know her
to be. So if you want to make that categorical statement, you should have gone further to investigate and then to be sure of what you are saying.
Dr. Kofofu,
yes,
is that not the reason why you should also support a call?
Who told you I don't support? I do support.
Pointer to also. I'm coming.
I support the call, and I'm happy.
What are you contesting?
I'm happy. Lawyer Pebu Monday will go to Strat. He has promised us.
Maybe OSP, because under Regulation 30, OSP can do a lifestyle audit under the LI.
Yes, I agree with you.
That bring your income, do this.
I agree with you. So both. I'm happy with that. There's no contention. But before then, I do not see how you can try her in the court of public opinion and then make judgment of your own.
So which is the judgment?
I wanted to make but you see, Dr. Kofofu, I don't know if you actually
a lot of things.
Yes, I don't think you were listening.
I kept quiet.
Yes, gentlemen, hold on.
During Mohammed's time, who dreamt that she will quit politics.
There
When she earns 1 million, she was fired.
There was a deputy minister under President Mahama who money was stolen in his car, from his car. Are you aware of that?
Let me.
What happened?
Okay, gentlemen.
What happened when the deputy minister under President Mahama money was actually stolen from his car? What happened?
If you make reference to
let's say one city.
Do two wrongs make it right?
No, but he brought in. He is trying.
Why don't you deal with this first?
He is trying to.
Listen,
I kept quiet on that. But until Professor brought in a precedent, Professor wanted us to know by precedent. Yes. So then I have to also traverse on that.
Please.
Suppose one city. But he was also a public figure.
What say the mother serpent of corruption? It's not Martin Amidu who christened President Kufado mother serpent of corruption. The President Kufado challenged Martin Amidu. When Martin Amidu said, why didn't Kufado challenge Martin Amidu?
Martin Kebo, thank you. I think that let me put it on record that there hasn't been any statement of conviction made on this platform at any point.
In the court of public opinion. That is why you are driving.
Let me.
That is what
you will choose to.
You are driving at. So that will be the conclusion. So the public should know that.
I'm surprised that you are not concerned that
we should actually or whatever, and she should be roasted in public. That is what you are profiting.
See, not about that. See,
yes,
she is a 7 public officer.
Yes, of course.
Wait. Who is paid with the taxpayers'
money? So go through the process.
So we have every right to ask questions about some of these things and what happened. Thank you.
Get her investigated.
Lawyer Inus Afzedi, let me bring you in at this point. And there's reference made to a number of laws. Okay, so there's some legal framework to the conversation that we're having. Would you also have expected that at least the appointer at this time should have acted on this matter as we speak?
So thank you so very much. For starters, let me state categorically that this matter is so important that we have to be honest about it and not engage in barroom talk. We look at the evidence and make reasonable deductions from the evidence. Why has this case generated so much public interest? It is precisely because a public officer is involved. If Daniel Osei Kufo had not married Cecilia Abnadapa, and his $1 million, 300,000 euro, a set of jewelry belonging to the wife, and other items had been stolen from his house, and he had made a complaint to the police, I'm not sure that would have generated this level of public interest. So the public interest generated in this case is precisely because a public officer is involved. Article 286 that Martin Kebo referred to is titled, the chapter is titled, Conduct of Public Officers. So the Constitution, which is the ground norm of the country, sets out the criteria for determining the conduct of a public officer. And that's why we are all, worried about the conduct of this public officer. First of all, as a public officer, we expected that any monies that she had, whether by income from employment, a loan from the bank, an inheritance from a family member, or whatever, should have been reasonable to keep such monies in the bank as a public officer, because a certain conduct is expected of her. And so not having done that is what is attracting our attention. 2, with Nana Addo Danko Akufo-Addo, it's becoming increasingly clear that he's a professor of impunity.
What do you mean? Well, why do you say that?
I mean, if you, in this government, from 2007 till to date, anywhere you turn in this government, you will be confronted with corruption, you'll be confronted with thievery, you'll be confronted with looting, you'll be confronted with perfidy, you'll be confronted with many things. Scandals upon scandals. And this president has obtained the dubious title of being a clearing agent. Dubious title. So, yes, reasonably, one would have expected the president to have spoken, especially when in swearing in his ministers, he set the benchmark. But I have come to believe that Nana Akufo-Addo always engages in grandstanding. He would have put his presidency on the line, and now we are facing the worst of galamsey or illegal mining activities in this country. So let's look at the facts. I mean, we are talking about the brief facts of the case, the charge sheets. It is said that between July and October last year, house helps of the minister looted her money. Now, we are not even told that that was the money that she had. She could have more. And I'm convinced in that position because she was not able to detect that her monies were looted until chance ran out on that lady. What's her name?
The Patience.
The
That's
Patience.
the 18-year-old.
Pat. Chance ran out on Pat when she posted her other house help to the gate to keep watch. Unfortunately, she could not be alerted in time. She gained entry into the Pa's bedroom, the Pa and the husband's bedroom, and was found in the bedroom. That was when their attention was drawn to the activities of the house helps. So they didn't know. They simply didn't know. And that is also revealing. 3, as a criminal lawyer, I know when such things happen, especially involving politicians, they will want to recover the money first and hash up. They will want to do that. So the fact that they have not hashed up is one, the money is gone and gone forever.
Boyfriends have taken over.
Or taken over. And two, Sister Adepa knows that her president will not take action against her. So she's emboldened. Yes, she knows that. So she's emboldened in that position. That's why she went forward. It is wrong for anybody to take property that does not belong to him or her. But it's equally wrong for a public officer to be this, to exhibit this level of recklessness. It's equally wrong. You see, my brother, we are told that Cecilia Adepa is well connected.
Well, Dr. Kofu says she's wealthy. She has a. Do you know
that's my good friend, so I don't want to mention his name. So that's what I'm saying.
He's seated right next to you.
Look him in the face and accuse
He's seated right next to you.
Not make progress.
So,
when they came, we hailed him.
It's all right.
What I say is my good friend. It's not that we are on a daily basis. We are on daily basis talking. But when he was in Parliament, we related a lot because of his worldview, the way he saw things, and his approach to parliamentary practice. When he lost elections, I consoled him. When he was at the Forestry Commission, I congratulated him. But I've not congratulated him since he went to EPA.
And I learned a lot from you.
So that's why I'm saying that.
And this is beautiful, right?
Yes.
We need to.
So that's why I say he's my friend, because I've spoken to him.
He inspired me.
But the fact is, Doctor, the fact is, what Cecilia Abnad-Dapaah has done is wrong. And if we say it is not wrong, then I don't know what will be wrong. It's very wrong. Now, we are told that if we cite examples, then other examples will come up. But it is important in conversations like this to cite examples, especially when you have a commander-in-chief who said that people must not come into his government to make money. When he said so, I didn't believe him.
Well, we played it this morning for emphasis.
I didn't believe him.
You didn't believe him?
They didn't believe him.
Why?
Because those people that he was given appointment to had been implicated in previous regimes. You remember the head of the PPA?
You may be AJ.
AJ? You remember his activities at the Ghana Ministry of Water Resources, Works and Housing? The overinflation of the purchase price of chemicals to be used in treated water? Yes. He was known to the law. He was known.
Convicted or found liable?
Found liable.
Oh.
By a committee.
Uh-oh.
When Nana Akufo-Addo appointed him, not only to a state institution, but to the institution that is set up to fight corruption, the procurement, the Public Procurement Authority. What happened? So, I mean...
So in an instance like this, if the president has to act, what specifically should have been done by now?
By now,
24 hours on.
By now, any responsible president would have referred her conduct to the investigative authorities and asked her to step aside. Because it is not only scandalous, it is also ridiculous. In the sense that we have hit the bottom of the rocks. The country is on its knees. Bondholders are suffering. Many banking institutions have been collapsed. Then someone has $1 million in the house. You know what $1 million could do to the banking sector? If this is not irresponsibility, tell me what that is. You know what that could do? That somebody has $1 million, 300,000 euros, and has refused to lend it to government.
Thank you.
And ordinary pensioners have given their monies to government. And they have been asked to take haircuts. But meanwhile, somebody's $1 million and a lot of CDs. And I believe they are massaging even the quantum of the Ghana cities.
Yes.
They are massaging it.
Yes.
So they are massaging. That's what the fact sheet says.
No, they are massaging.
Social media people believe that money is.
No, I also believe. I'm not on social media. I'm on TV3. I believe that.
So all of a sudden, the tax sheet is not credible.
I'm not saying the details of the fact sheet. I'm not saying that.
All of a sudden, the tax sheet is no more credible.
I'm not saying the fact sheet. The brief facts of the case, the charge sheet, everything. I believe. But I also believe.
You are acting.
But I also believe.
Yes.
That have manipulated the figure.
No, that's what I'm saying. On what basis do you have this belief?
Smuggling in propaganda.
No.
How politicians double.
So you see, then you ask yourself, so why should bondholders take haircuts?
I mean, you mean like pension bondholders, individual bondholders?
Why should they take haircuts? And is this a manifestation of what is happening in Ghana now? That public office holders and particularly political appointees have stashed up a lot of money in their homes. Will we be wrong in assuming that this is the new reality?
No, it's wrong.
Oh, they,
No,
that political actors are keeping monies in their homes.
Yes, I've been hearing it.
Oh, not only you have been hearing it. Last year when I was, 2 years or 3 years ago, I was in Parliament, and I got a brief of somebody who had been arrested at the Heathrow Airport carrying money laundering.
Businessman.
Somebody close to this government.
Oh.
There was a frantic attempt to dismiss what I said. Things didn't work out for them. Because the European Union now blacklisted the Ghana embassy, and the banks in Belgium asked the Ghana embassy in Belgium to close its account with them on suspicion of money laundering. So there are many things happening in this country that if you put the dots together, you will have a reasonable appreciation of what has brought us to our knees. And you will be on point if you say that is corruption, thievery, looting, recklessness, incompetence, and a weak leader. Nana Akufo-Addo has demonstrated that he is the weakest leader in the history of this country. He cannot even take action against his appointees. He cannot. And what is more painful is that he used talk to hoodwink Ghanaians into believing that he could act. But you see, Peter Abrahams, the learned writer in South Africa, wrote a book, Mind Boy. In Mind Boy, he described the character, Johannes. And he said Johannes had two different characters. Johannes drunk and Johannes sober were two different persons. Akufo-Addo, before he became president, and Akufo-Addo, after he became president, are two different persons. Completely different persons. As a free private man, he inspired confidence in Ghanaians, hope and trust. As a president, he's betrayed all these values.
So what should be the focus of an investigation into a case like this?
The focus is simple.
The source of the money?
FATF rules, Financial Action Task Force rules, demand that where such resources are found with a public officer or a private person, and that's why the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act extends to private persons. That person has a responsibility to show where that money comes from. The source.
So until that is done,
So the focus of...
No, not that until that is done. Who does that? Especially when that person is a public officer. It is the appointor
in the law
who will demonstrate fidelity to the principles of accountability.
It's in the law.
Well.
The law prescribes.
So very early in the day, when Ken Ofori-Atta, that's his name, the finance minister, issued the Eurobond without an advice from the Attorney General, I came to the conclusion that Nana Akufo-Addo was not in charge.
Why?
You're going to enter into a major international financial transaction. Convention